surrounded by tons of Paddington Bears, and there's a really good reason why. I want to introduce Madeline Ravitch from the Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we have a bunch of bears, and this is a very simple thing to do. Buy a bear, and it helps a child who is homeless. Explain this program to me.
Sure. So I'm the director of the Be Homeful Project, which is a program we started at the Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness a few years ago to end family homelessness here in Connecticut. And one of the things that most people don't know is that there are 1,000 families each year who experience homelessness in Connecticut. That's 2,000 children who enter the shelter system. And a shelter is not a home, and we wanted to do something about that. And in fact, it turns out that it is possible to prevent a family from becoming homeless for on average $1,000 if you do it right. So we, knowing that, we said, okay, we have some work to do to get the word out about that. And we need to start young, educating even the youngest members of our society about the impact we can make if we all work together. And that's why we partnered with Paddington Bear, who himself was homeless, to raise awareness about family homelessness. And this year we have a very special opportunity, which is made possible through the Connecticut Realtors Foundation, which is that for every $25 donated to the Be Homeful Project, which raises money for families to stay in their homes, a bear is donated to a child in a shelter. And this is because the Connecticut Realtors Foundation are sponsoring our campaign this holiday season.
To a child who is homeless, who's staying in a shelter with their family, this bear is everything. It's a brand new toy. It's something to sleep with. And in the meantime, for your $25, the goal is to raise how much money this year?
Over the course of this year, we'd like to raise $1 million. That would be enough to prevent all
Let's
families
start
throughout
high,
Connecticut.
shall we? Let's go to $1 million. Because you point out that 1,000 families in this state are homeless every year. Does that number go up and down?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. It's not exactly 1,000, but it's stayed about that amount for the last few years. So that's a pretty constant.
So let's say somebody's watching and they love these bears and they want to make sure that one of these bears gets into the hands of a homeless child. What do? What website do they go to?
Sure, because there's a couple of different things you can do. If you just want to make a donation, you can go to behomeful.org/give, or behomeful.org will take you there. And that's our website for the campaign that explains all the different ways that you, your child, your family, your community can work with Paddington Bear to help us end family homelessness. If you want to take it a step further and hold your own bear raiser, you can go to behomeful.org and go to our crowdfunding site, which is actually at crowdrise.com/behomeful as well. So that's a great tool. We also have forums if people want to do it the old-fashioned way and just to hold a fundraiser at their holiday party or birthday party, whatever it is.
Now, people are homeless year-round. Do you find that people give more around the holidays, and you just want to express, we need this year-round?
That's a very good observation. Family homelessness actually peaks during the summertime. And people don't think about that because people really think about homelessness when it's cold outside. So that's why the holiday season is such a wonderful time for us to reach out to people when they're thinking about homelessness, to give them a way to make a difference. But in fact, the reason that homelessness for families peaks during the summertime is that when school lets out, it creates all sorts of additional stress in terms of the free lunch. Children can still get free lunches, but they have to be able to get to school, so that's tricky. And then most of all, daycare is a big issue, childcare. So if you are responsible for a child and a job, it just doesn't square for many working families during the summertime, and they go into crisis mode.
We've done a better job in this state of helping our homeless veterans. Mm-hmm. How have you helped in that endeavor?
This has been a huge couple of years because in 2015, our agencies, we are a coalition of agencies throughout the state, and so these agencies work together collaboratively to build a system to end veteran homelessness. And what that means is it doesn't mean that veterans will never become homeless again, but what it does mean is that there's a system in place to connect veterans with homes when when they are identified as needing help. So this was really, the resources were there. We built the system. When I say we, it's this coalition of so many different agencies working together. And then right now, this is an exciting time as well, because we are on track to end chronic homelessness by the end of this month, which is huge. So people with disabilities, it's a similar kind of challenge of building a system so that we can figure out who in each community is homeless and match them with housing, and really shorten that time in shelter if we can't eliminate it altogether.
I know that what you do for the coalition is not just a job. You feel this in your heart. I've known you a while now, and this is a mission not only in a job, but for you. Why are you so close to this?
Well, I'm a mother, and I have a daughter who is very passionate about helping children in her community, and I think that seeing her build her sense of others is a powerful thing, and something that I'm excited to work with other parents, mothers. I mean, it's all sorts of people. We have businessmen. We have so many different people rolling up their sleeves to raise bears and help in so many different ways. But I think that there's something in particular about this campaign that brings it down to a level where even a child can understand. That's powerful, because children often understand things that adults don't. It kind of can go over your head after years of having so many different charities, coming from so many different directions. Children somehow understand that staying in a home, that being in a home, that making sure that other children can be in a home, that's something that we all just need to roll up our sleeves and help with.
When you see in your work of families that are in shelters, give me an idea of what you think that feels like.
I think it's hard. I've been to a lot of shelters at this point, and I often wish that people could kind of come with me and walk through a shelter. And in fact, we did a lovely piece on WTNH with Scott McDonald, looked on a tour of one of our wonderful shelters. Even the most wonderful shelter is not a home. You have families piled into small spaces, or even in bunk beds in some cases, and it's not the same as having your own room to go back to, of having the stability of being in the same place day after day, night after night. There's just something different in being in an institution than being in a home. So, it really, that distinction, I think a lot of people think, oh, a shelter, okay, we're done. But a shelter is not a home, and in fact, the #1 predictor of whether somebody will be homeless as an adult is if they experience homelessness as a child, because it normalizes the experience. So we want to get ahead of that. And there's so many economic reasons too, right? That's the emotional reason. The emotional reason speaks to all of us, I think. But the other thing that's really astonishing is it's $1,000 to prevent a family from becoming homeless. It's $33,000 per child per year when you add up all the different costs to the system. So that's a systems thing. It's not the same thing as the feeling, but I think that's important to understand too.
So for $25, you get this bear in the hand of a homeless child, and with that money, you make sure that people stay out of shelters and eventually get into a home.
Absolutely, it's a win-win, and we're really excited because in the next couple of weeks, the Connecticut Realtors Foundation, who have underwritten the bears, are going to be delivering the first round of bears to shelters around Connecticut. And I was on the phone all day with shelters, talking to them, telling them they were getting these bears. They were so excited. They said, "This is amazing. Thank you so much." They love the bears, and they know that the kids will too. So it's a really wonderful thing, and I think the partnership with the realtors is exciting too, because they understand the importance of having a home in another way, and it's exciting to be partnering with them to make this happen.
But the program is wonderful. I hope it continues to grow, and that thousands and thousands of Paddingtons are given out so that we can raise more money for the homeless in Connecticut. Madeline Ravitch, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for letting people know about Be Homeful for the holidays, Ann. We appreciate your support. You've done so much for us, so we're grateful.
My pleasure.
Man, Jimmy, I'm suits when we're missing. Who is this girl I spend all night kissing? And if Walter's right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm a wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Need to keep locked in the grocery store of my mind. Just to save time, skip right ahead to the last ride. The harder we look, the less we can see. Don't you know, you know, you know that you need me.